Hello, and welcome to President Pat's podcast at North Shore Community College. I'm Dr. Pat Gentili, proud president of North Shore Community College in Massachusetts. As you know from one of our earlier podcasts about our performing arts presentation, The Taming of the Shrew, this month, April, we celebrate Arts in April at the college, an annual celebration of arts and culture organized by the Arts and Culture Committee. As we close out this month, today's episode will feature Spark, our literary and artistic expression magazine. I always look forward to this publication because it's an excellent representation of the many talents of our great students. The magazine's submissions are judged by a panel of North Shore Community College professors and students. They include stories, poems, photographs, paintings, and other artistic works. Spark is a very impressive piece of work, and I've been fortunate in the past when some of these have been up for auction to purchase a few, and I love looking at the artwork because it reminds me not only of the talented students that we have here at North Shore Community College, but especially that student who's now long gone out of the college and on to other creative things. So my guests today include Sandy Fuhs, who is the program coordinator of the college's graphic design program, Spark Art Committee judge, and magazine layout guru, and three of the students featured in the magazine. We have poet Gabi Seaman, writer Charlie Heath, and artist Olivia Dantzler. Welcome, everyone. Sandy, can you start us off with explaining some of the background on Spark, how it came to be, how long it's been around?
Sure. Thank you, President Gentili, for having us. We appreciate your support that you've demonstrated for all of the arts here at the college. The Spark magazine is actually, this is our 11th issue of the magazine. It includes poetry, stories, photographs, drawings, and it showcases the inspiration and the talents of these students that you see here, plus more. We're dedicated to the persistence, the vision, the forward movement, and the knowledge of creativity and the rewards that it brings. I listened to your podcast on The Taming of the Shrew with Matthew Woods, and that was wonderful, and it was a true celebration for this Arts in April. Spark was launched with a group of us from administration, from faculty, from students, and student engagement folks. And it was really to give you a vehicle to show the tremendous creativity here at the college. We believe that the publication keeps getting better and better every year. One of the highlights of the Arts in Celebration is usually the launch that we have for the Arts in April with this Spark magazine.
Well, I have to say that I am so impressed with this year's magazine. It's beautifully done. The poems, the stories are inspirational, and I just loved reading through it. I also loved seeing it on display at the Lynn Museum. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how that came to be?
Well, the whole process is lengthy. It starts in September, really, at the beginning of the school year. We put out information about how you can contribute to Spark, your literary and your art pieces. We have posters, emails, it's on the school's website, as well as announcements in most of the classes. From there, about the second or third week of the spring semester, we close the entries, and then it's divided into the literary and the artwork submissions. We have judges, faculty, and students on the judging, and they anonymously look at the submissions that were done. From there, they have certain categories and attributes that they're judging. For this year, for the first time, the magazine was actually laid out by two of my graphic design students, so I was very pleased with their work. That was Kadeem Antoine and Samantha Russo. It was an incredible learning experience for them, and they really got into it, so that was nice. From there, once all the pieces are selected, we print them out very large and mount them, and then we're lucky enough to have the Lynn Museum space, so we hang those. It took about 2 days. Bonnie Ashmore from the arts program here at the college. She and I hung that for the launch on April 17th. This was the second year that we were at the Lynn Arts Museum, which is a wonderful venue because it's a professional museum. The students' work is actually shown in a museum, something they can actually put on their resume. So they had an exhibit. And it also stays up for several weeks after the launch. And by doing that, the general public here in Lynn have the opportunity to see the creative people here. They understand what is going on inside the college. So that's wonderful as well.
Well, I have to say, the Lynn Museum also hosts many of the community meetings. And so I always get to go to those meetings and then see our artwork surrounding the meeting. It's pretty cool. I have to tell you, I have to point it out to everybody. Look on the walls. That's our students at North Shore Community College, and everybody is always so impressed. Talking about impressive, let's talk to some of our students here. So, Gabi, shall we start with you? Welcome to the podcast.
Hi.
Hi. Well, you've had several extraordinary poems in Spark. Can you share with our listeners how you go through that creative process? And, you've been writing poetry, and tell us a little bit about your passion.
Yeah, so I have been writing since I was 6 or 7. I've always just written poems, but I've always kept it to myself. And really, this is the first year that I've shown my poetry to anybody. Yeah, before it was really my mom. And,
I'm sure she's very proud of you.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, you're so good." But right, exactly. But yeah, it was really just something that connected me to myself and nature, because I'm really into meditation. And I went to Essex Aggie, and I majored in natural resources. So I've always just been really submerged in nature. But yeah, I guess to see that what I write to help me ground myself, to help other people ground themselves by reading it, was really sweet and nice and, affirming. But,
it's great. So this is your first experience being published.
Yeah, that's really weird.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's very
Another
cool.
thing for your resume.
It is.
Totally.
Well, I've read your poems. They're extraordinary.
Thank you.
So they need to be shared with others. So don't let this be the first and only, just the beginning. Well, let's also talk to Charlie Heath. Charlie, can you tell me a little bit about your thought-provoking piece in Spark? What helped you think about that, write it, and what's it like being selected to be featured?
Oh, well, to be selected, it was very shocking, because it wasn't necessarily a piece I was super proud of. I was just I had worked on it for a really long time, and I thought, oh, well, I can give it a shot. I'm getting good feedback on it, and it's actually kind of cheesy that it was inspired by a Joy Division song.
Okay.
And I just kind of ran with it, and then I got some great feedback from workshopping it in a creative writing class, and I just kind of whittled it down into something that I could be proud of, and that it did take a lot of emotion. And I'm usually a poet, I usually work with poetry, but this was something different, and it's surreal seeing that it paid off.
Well, obviously you are a talented writer, and I think you should be proud of your work. How long did you actually work on this piece? You say it took quite some time.
Yeah, so the first draft probably came about in December. And then it started out in a little journal I keep that I write all sorts of stuff in. And it started out as this journal entry that was going to be the beginning of a bigger story, but then it kind of became this little thing and this little encapsulated moment of some person's life that who knows who they are, if they're me, if they're not. And it did take a long time, lots of workshopping, and at its longest, it was 3.5 pages, and then I got it down to the 2 pages. It went through a lot.
Wow. Well, I'm sure you learned a lot, too, going through that experience, and I hope this is not going to be your last story.
I hope so, yeah.
No, you hope
I hope it's not.
beginning of
I
more,
hope it's the
right?
beginning, yeah, for sure.
Now, I'd like to also welcome artist Olivia Dantzler. Olivia, you have multiple beautiful pieces of artwork in Spark. Can you describe your style? It's hard when we're doing a podcast for people to see anything, but if you could give us kind of a sense of what your inspiration in art is and what you feel you've produced.
Oh, thank you, President Gentili. So my art is representational of people who are closest to me in life. And apart from that, I really like to experiment with abstract art as well. I'm really drawn to just working with shapes and colorful palettes. But I always come back to portraits and capturing people because I think it's challenging, and the reward is when I see the look on someone's face. It could be the person I painted or someone who knows them, and it just reminds them of who that person is and makes them happy. So,
well, that's great. What did you start as a young girl doing this, or is this something that developed later?
So I've always used creativity as an outlet and escape because I was a pretty introverted child. But I didn't get serious about it until, or thought maybe I could choose it as a career path until the end of junior high and high school, which I attribute to my mom. She really got me to believe in myself when it came to expressing my ambitions and talents. So I owe it all to her, pretty much.
Well, thank goodness for moms and other family members who believe in us. And here at North Shore Community College, we believe in you as well. So we know you have great artistic ability. All three of you are so inspiring.
Thank you.
Well, I love that you took advantage of this opportunity to showcase for the first time your poetry, to write a very thought-provoking story that was some hard work, and to express your very artistic paintings. So this is, for us here at North Shore Community College, this is also a gift that you give us, and I want to thank you. So Sandy, if folks want to see Spark, what should they look for, and how do they get it?
Well, it was up on the walls at the Lim Museum, as well as at the Office of Student Engagement on either campus. You can get a copy just to enjoy. One more place, if you want more information about Spark, this issue or future issues, you can go online to northshore.edu/Spark.
That's great. Thank you. Well, thank you all. I hope folks do take the time to take a look and check out this great publication and your wonderful work. It really is a strong representation of the talents of our very creative student body. This is Dr. Pat Gentili, president of North Shore Community College. I hope you learned something new. If you're enjoying this podcast, I invite you to subscribe on iTunes or Google Play, and be sure to leave a review or a suggestion of what you'd like to know more about North Shore Community College for future episodes. Until next time, ciao.